to the nightly behind the scenes. I'm so excited. I'm going to do today's video on our brand new charity quilt, and we're just going to chat. I'm going to sew, but we're going to mainly chat. So just to start the chat off, everyone start posting where you're from so everyone can see like where everybody's from, and then I'll kind of talk about what we're going to do tonight. So tonight we're going to make a block. Now with our charity quilts, I'll show you the quilt kit, but it's called Bountiful Charity 2023 Quilt Along. We have a donation link that we have in the description box, and we have donated $32,786 to Make-A-Wish. So for tonight, to do something different and fun, if we get to 38,000 in donations, I'm going to give you a coupon code. And Kevin will unlock it if we get to that. But thank you everyone who has donated, and we'll kind of pop that little thing up throughout. So let's talk about what we're going to do tonight. So the Bountiful kit, you can get the kit, you can get the backing set, and we've shown that before. The kit comes in a really cute box, and I'll show it to you real quick. But this is the box. It's so cute, and it has a little magnetic closure so you can put quilt blocks in it. And then we have a backing set, but we also have a cross stitch. So here's the backing set, and our backing set is pieced, so it has a fun piece, and you can put your name somewhere in there. And if you didn't know, we have another YouTube channel called Fat Quarter Shop Floss Tube. We don't have as many subscribers there, but if you love Fat Quarter Shop, you might want to check that out. We have a lot of fun over there on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Central Time. And if you didn't know, we do a live every Friday at 9 a.m. Central Time. And today is going to be this week's live because our team is flying out to Nashville tomorrow morning. So let's talk about what we're going to do tonight. On the basket block, there are 2 blocks in the quilt. This Bountiful quilt kit was designed by Corey Yoder, and the pattern is completely free on our site, and the fabric requirements are on our site. So if you don't want to use the quilt kit we're selling, you can totally use your own fabrics, and all that information is on the site. We just ask for you to donate to Make-A-Wish. Now the blocks today are 24.5-inch squares, so they're really big, and I'm going to talk through how to kind of start. Now what I do when I first start looking at this pattern is I look through the pattern, but I've already cut all my pieces, so my backgrounds are A to F, and you're going to see some little notes. Those are little tips I'm going to give you throughout. They are, I will admit, excessive, and they're kind of OCD, and they might drive you crazy, but I am showing you exactly how I made this block. So that's my background. And then you're making 2 blocks. So for this block, your basket is here, and then this one, your basket fabric is here. This is your accent fabric. It's the same in both blocks. L and M are your handles. N and O are your inner borders, and then Q and P are your outer borders. So kind of what I like to do is read the pattern, kind of look, see what you need to do, figure out what tips you want to use. You know, you might use triangle paper on something, you might use different tips. So I have everything cut, and I have some notes we'll go through as we go. Now I do want to tell you, a lot of you have already made these blocks, and it's been so amazing to see, and I'm so excited that so many of you are making it in this fabric because I love it. Now I did want to show you how this block would look in a pillow. So like I said, 24.5-inch square, but just to show you, if you add some borders to it, and the borders, we're going to give you the border measurements we use once we hit $40,000. It's going to be our bonus pattern. And we're going to give you the measurements for that, the measurements for the pillow, and then how to piece the back if you want to piece it into a pillow. And when I was looking at it, I was like, oh my gosh, it would be so cute for a bed for Piggy. So I'm kind of thinking about making an extra one and just making it into like a bed for Piggy because it's so cute and it's really, really big. So it might be too big for your style. It is great for a chair though. So let's kind of jump right in. And so here we go. I'm going to put this aside. I did want to point out, whenever you look at a Fat Quarter Shop or It's So Emma pattern, there's always going to be a diagram with letters. That will help you when you're cutting. And we always give descriptions, diagrams to make it easy for you. And so this is the second block, and I'm going to show you the first block. Okay, so before we start, I need to talk about one thing that I always talk about every year. So in your kit, you get enough fabric to starch because I like to starch. Now I have lots of videos on starching and you can check those out on our channel. But another thing that I'm a stickler for, you will never see a quilt that I've made except for like something very beginner that we show on our site where I do the borders with the fabric. I don't like on the edge of a quilt. If I was let's say I was a judge in a quilt fair, I would ding people if they had, I wouldn't even care about the piecing. I cannot stand borders that have strips that are cut. So before I started this kit, this is it, I went ahead, looked at my instructions that are included in my kit and cut them length of fabric so that when I get to month 6, I have it. So we wrote the pattern with the fabric, but the kit has enough to do it either way. And if you want to refer to my video, last year for our Heartfelt Charity Quilt Along, I showed you how to cut your fabric, length of fabric. So you can refer to that video and you just look at the sizes that are in this pattern. And like I said, this has enough to starch. And that would be the only thing that I do before everything I'm about to show you, if that makes sense. So let's kind of jump right in. So I'll kind of leave that there and I'll put this here. So we're going to start with hourglass blocks. Now what I wanted to show you is the way I do hourglass blocks. So we have a free hourglass unit cheat sheet for quilt patterns. Now this is going to tell you your finished size and all the math that we use that's already calculated in the pattern because I am making this bigger and trimming down. That's how I always do hourglass. But just so you know, if you buy a pattern that isn't written by Fat Quarter Shop or It's So Emma, all you have to do is print this free at Fat Quarter Shop, and that will give you the math that we have already done for you here. So we'll just kind of talk about hourglass blocks. So from here, it's super easy. I take my H and my J, super easy, and we're going to cut them on the diagonal twice. Now with an hourglass unit, if you're making a pattern that has it where it has to be exact and you don't trim down, you really need to cut them separately. But because I've given a lot of room for trimming down, you just cut it this way. Actually, I'm supposed to cut it on here. Ooh, we're moving on up. Moving on up in our donations. Please don't demonetize me for singing the Jeffersons. Wait, let me see where we're at. 33, yay! So you cut this, which I've already done over here. And I've made 3, but I'm going to show you how to make 1. And then trim down. I'll leave this here. Okay, so what I do, now because we're going to trim down, I'm not going to use pins. So I'm just going to put my fabrics right sides together. And then we're going to go to the sewing machine, use a 1/4 inch seam, sew down here, and then we're going to iron. Now, one thing I'm going to do different today. For whatever reason, 2023 is the year of Kimberly Jolly pressing open. Now next year, I'll probably be on some other kick. I get on these things and I kind of stick with them. So I'm showing you today everything pressed open because that's kind of what I'm doing in my life. And when I come on the videos, I really try to show you what I do. Now next year, it might be totally different because I do go through phases. There was a point where I thought people were absolutely insane for pressing open. So that would be a great thing to chat about. Do you press open? Do you not? What are your thoughts on it? And so now we're gonna go stitch. Yeah, when I first met Lori, she pressed open and I thought, oh my gosh, she's crazy. And just as a hint, I finished up one of my scrappy quilts that we started in 2023, and I started a new one. And it's super beginner, super easy, and it's so easy, I even pressed open, and I thought, you know, I've really lost my mind if on something this easy I'm pressing open, but I am just addicted to it. So my iron is heating up. Oh, a lot of people press open. I think you should do you. Whatever you like to do, you should do. I find that when I come on camera and do something different than I do at home, I kind of make a lot of mistakes. So I kind of decided I was just going to do what I do on camera. So from here, because I've pressed open, I'm going to cut that apart, put it back together, and you can put your finger about 1/2 inch away, pull back and make sure those line up. And then I'm going to pin here. And we're going to just sew with a 1/4 inch seam. That's a great point, Joy. Depends on the pattern. Now another thing we can chat about is when you have a seam, if it's off a little, do you redo it? Most of the time I redo it. So I'd be interested to see what you guys think. So the pins, someone's asking about pins, and my pins I like to use are these Little House pins. They're made in Japan. Oh, we're moving on up. Yay, yay, yay. I don't know the word, so I'm gonna make my own. Okay, so now this needs to be 2.5, and I know because it tells me right here. So I'm gonna use a Creative Grids ruler, but when you're using it, it's great to use a ruler that has a center point. So on the Creative Grids ruler, there's a white line that goes here and here. I'm not sure if OmniGrid has that. I haven't used their rulers in so long, but just look for that. Hopefully that's in there for whatever you have. And then I'm gonna put the center here and just rotate. And what you want is you want all 4 to touch that little point right there. Oh, Jordan almost showed my little toesies. I have no shoes on. Do you guys sew with shoes? That's a good point. Depends on how far it is. How far off your seam is. Okay, now I got off by talking. I'm the worst at pressing open. Yeah, everybody's so different. And I think it's great. That's what I think is great about the quilting community. There's different fabric for everybody. There's different patterns for everybody. There's different everything for everybody. So that's how I trim it down. Now this is just very little waste, and that is the math you will get if you download this for free. And we've started to do these cheat sheets. We have some more that are actually coming soon for you guys for flying geese. I have a fun flying geese video coming up. So, oh my gosh, Sammy, that's hilarious. 1 sock, 1 slipper. That is hilarious. I don't know if I could do that. I'd probably fall over. I'm really clumsy, guys. You can ask anybody who works here. I'm so clumsy. Okay, so let's talk about assembling this. And I've already got it assembled, and that's gonna pretty much be the only cheating we have today is this, because this is a big block and we really build it. But I wanna talk a little bit about sawtooth stars, which are basically this block. So I'm gonna start building it. And this was something that, you know, now that I've been sewing a long time, I really get, but earlier in my career or journey of quilting, it was not always so natural. Okay, so let's look, let's see. Are we almost to 35? No, oh, 34. Oh my gosh, Kevin better be ready to do the coupon. He's at home, ready to do the coupon. Okay, so I never really thought about this when I started, but what you can do when you lay this out, well, first, when I started, there weren't these awesome design boards, and there weren't awesome pins, so life has been great adding all these new notions. But what I do at home, and it sounds so crazy, is I do this, and I make sure that dark is right there. And then what you're gonna do is just pin this together, sew down the seam, press, and then add this. And because of the way we did our hourglasses, if you look at the corner, when you sew that 1/4 inch, it's gonna exactly touch because we trimmed down, and when we trim down accurately. So now we have our, that's pretty easy, that's pretty standard, something we do all the time. So this is 6.5 inches now. And just so you can see my work, it's all pressed open. And like I said, sew however you want. Sew with shoes, sew with socks, sew with slippers, sew pressing open, sew however you want. So we cheated and we got, here, now we're gonna be a little bit slower now. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna build our block. And I'm gonna keep this size design board for now, but as my block gets bigger, I'll build my design board. So I just kind of look at my next, and this is actually why I created the It's Sew Emma brand and the patterns. I was inspired by Thimbleberries years ago. If you think back 15 years ago, Thimbleberries was the trendsetter in all the patterns. She had the best patterns. They were full color, they were nice paper, and I could just look at them and make the pattern. I didn't have to read. If you know anything about me, if you've ever met me in real life, I don't read. Ask Denise, I don't read anything. If you send me an email that says, I need you to read this full email, 100% I'm not reading it. That's just my personality. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of cheat, and these are my G's, and I'm gonna kind of look, and it goes here. Now I need my F's. So I don't even read my instructions, to be honest, because I developed these so that I could cheat. And I love this white on white, guys. This is the cutest white on white it has. It's basically this little plus sign on white. It's so cute. I love it. I bought a bolt of it. No shoes, no socks. Oh, it's snowing in Arizona. Socks or slippers. Y'all guys love the socks. I don't know. You know, I'm going out of town, and the hotel we're going to, it's not that clean. Let's just be honest. It's not clean at all. So I do need to remember to add some socks. Okay, so here, you can do, I'm going to show you 2 methods. On the left, I'm going to pin. And when I pin, and I know this is an extra step. Oh my gosh, it is an extra step. I know, it slows me down. I get the most accurate corner squares when I pin 3 times. So that's one method. Another method is to glue. Now, if you're gonna save your half square triangle, you can't glue, but I'm gonna show it to you. How many Starbucks did Kimberly drink? Oh, I drank 3, actually 4. I've had 6 today. I actually was at a dance convention last weekend, and one of the moms, I said, well, I have to go get a Starbucks. And it was really late, and she was like, how can you sleep? And one of my other friends was like, oh, you have no idea. She drinks like so many Starbucks. She's like, she has to have them. Oh, somebody says, hi, Mom. Oh, Christopher's in here. Okay. Hi, Christopher. You should go outside and do 10 layups. Get your energy out. Okay. So now I'm going to stitch directly on this line, and I will see on the left which one is more accurate, pinning or glue. And I use both methods. Kind of depends what kind of mood I'm in. I love to show you lots of things. Some people will just place it on there and sew. You can do however you want. Oh my gosh, y'all are still on that. Socks, shoes. Okay, now y'all love the shoe conversation. Let's talk about what's your favorite brand of shoes. I don't have a brand. Let's see. Okay, now I'm gonna put an open toe foot so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm gonna try to sew as accurate as I can right on that line. And do the same thing here. Remove my pins after I've sewn. Okay, so when I come back over here, Birkenstocks, what? Oh my word. I haven't had those since the 1990s. I'll tell y'all a funny story about Birkenstocks. I bought some one time and I was broke and I bought them, and my granny, she was like, those are the ugliest shoes I've ever seen in the whole world. And I was like, oh my God, I spent $80. And she was horrified. Okay, so this has glue, you can't use it. But this one you could save. I'll show you what you can do with it in a second. I'll just save it and put it. Well, actually, I'll just tell you. I'll just sew with a 1/4 inch seam, press it open, and put it in my half square triangle bucket. And if you want to know more about my half square triangle bucket, you just have to join me on Fridays and subscribe to our channel. Bionic. Have I been listening to Alex Murdaugh every second of it? I'm obsessed. Skechers, New Balance, Nike, Billas, Clark. Oh my gosh, Skechers and Brooks. I haven't even heard of these brands. Honestly, I just want something comfortable. Right now, I've been wearing Uggs. Priscilla and Chelsea bought me some a couple years ago, and I'm obsessed with them. So that's what I'm currently wearing. Allison, no shoes. Okay, yeah, so I've been watching the Alex Murdaugh. I wasn't gonna watch it. I was gonna fight the urge to watch it, and I just couldn't. Priscilla, one of my friends, she kind of locked me in. She kept asking me, well, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And so I couldn't stop watching. Okay, so this is an extra step, but this is the right. I'm gonna trim it. I just like it to be perfect. I know it's crazy. Extra step. Birks in the summer, Skechers in the winter. I don't even think I've ever worn Skechers. I don't think those were a thing when I was young. The trail is nail biting. Okay, my prediction. I always predict wrong. I'm gonna pin these while I'm telling you my prediction. My prediction is hung jury Tuesday, 2 p.m. If it happens, we'll see. But let's see. Okay, so when I'm pinning, I'm just trying to pin where you don't see anything from the front or the back. And since there's so much room from here and here, I'm gonna go ahead and do both sides. Do I think he did it? Oh, absolutely. In my opinion. Who else would have done it? If he didn't do it, he hired someone. He absolutely was involved. Who else could have showed up and done that in 3 minutes? I think it's funny they are sharing the Alex Murdaugh just because the man is rich. I don't think that's why. I think it's because it shows how when you have power and you abuse it, that is what I think they're showing it. Hung jury, yes, agree. I think it's going to be hung jury too. Okay, now I'm going to stitch with a 1/4 inch seam, so you'll see that I'm going to change my foot back. Okay, so definitely want to make sure that all of these stayed flat. Set the seam and set the seam. Press to one side and then I'll press open. He's lied so much, I hope it's not a hung jury. Absolutely. But I think the fact that there's no blood evidence and that sled kind of deferred to him when they showed up, that ruined the case. Okay, so now I just wanted to show you a little trick. This is 6.5 by 12.5. Now, this is kind of crazy. I know you really shouldn't do this, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this throughout. And the reason why is this block is big. I want it to be exactly 6.5 by 12.5 before I start adding stuff. When are we going to receive the cross stitch pattern? Oh my gosh, the cross stitch pattern is comes out in sections. Part 1 is out now. Piggy, oh Piggy's good. Okay, so we've built that. Now we're going to move to the handles. And when I do that, this will drive me crazy. Let's see. When I do that, I'm going to lay it out visually because that helps me. I'm going to draw some lines. I'm so used to using small pieces of fabrics. Any recommendation on using large background and how to cut it down? Some patterns will tell you strips to cut with the fabric and then subcut down. You could start with one of those, or you could kind of draw a diagram and draw out what to cut before you cut. Okay, so these are my F's. So I've got L, that's gonna go here. Okay, you guys tell me, do you want me to pin these or glue these? And that's what we'll do. I've got my B and my M's. Now I will say, I would try your best to cut this straight, and you can see we centered the darks. And there is enough fabric to do that, because if you don't, it might look kind of funny. And also just remember, it doesn't matter what the manufacturer is. It's never 100% straight. So because of that, I always say just cut according to the stripe. And so here we're gonna pin, and then you guys are voting, pin. So here we go, we're gonna pin. We're gonna pin all of this. This uses can you scroll down? Sorry, y'all are chatting so fast. This uses so many 2.5-inch squares. For corners, just cut a 2.5 with the fabric and make strips and squares. Yes, that's a great point. Okay, so I've got that, and then we'll pin these. Your hands are beautiful when you sew. I wonder if you use a tanner. No, I do not use a tanner. My daughter uses a tanner. She has a tan subscription, and I think it's ridiculous. And it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous, but you know, she's a teenager. I pick my battles. What kind of machine do I use? I use a Juki TL 2010Q. How do I keep the fabric from fraying? I use starch. That will help. All fabric does fray. And I always use steam. So if y'all have questions, pop them in. Otherwise, let's think of a fun question to chat about. see. If you could time travel, what year would you choose? Let's do that. Okay, so since I have my 1/4 inch foot, I'm going to do these first. And then I'll switch. Now, I know some of you have really fancy machines. You don't have to switch your feet as much. This is just my preferred. Chop this off. 1972. Okay, I was born in 74. That was a good year. 76, 86, 2011, 2050. Oh, I don't know if I could go to 2050. I feel so out of touch in what year are we in? 2023? I can't imagine the future. The roaring 20s. I'd love to be a flapper. Let's see, 2012, 1987. I'd redo high school again. Oh my gosh, no, I would never want to go back to high school. Never, 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 never. I was crazy. I wasn't crazy. I was just, I don't know. I was not who I am today. Let's just say that. Shirley Brown. I would go back to 1990 so I could quilt with my grandma. 1963 because so many assassinations happened that year. Oh my goodness, that would be... Maybe we could go back and record them so we know who really killed JFK, right? Sorry, I had to throw that in. We all love Corey Yoder. Let's see. I know I'm chatting a lot. I'm trying not to make any mistakes though. Okay, we're at 34,968. Okay, so we've got this. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to sew that, but then I'm going to go to the next page and see what's next. Oh, we've got E and D's that go here. So I'm going to kind of put them on there so I don't have to keep coming back. Okay, now this is going to be on E. I cut it 1/2 inch wider. It's going to be totally annoying, but I'm going to show you why. So I put notes when I do that. So I did that. And my D, I cut wider. So these I cut 3 inch instead of 2.5. And this one I cut 3 by 13.5. And so what I'm going to do here, let me make sure I've got it going the right way since I'm talking jibber jabber. 1942. I would like to know why they built the pyramids. That's interesting. 1968. Best music. Okay, so I like to pin at the outsides. Oh my gosh, I keep reminding my husband our teenagers are not the people they will grow up to be. Oh, let me tell you, my motto in my house is pick your battles. Pick your battles, because there are a lot of battles. Okay, so I'm going to sew this. We're going to press open, and then I'm just going to add, and then we're going to talk about how to add this even though it's bigger. And I would say most people don't add the D and E bigger. That's just a thing that I did when I made my block, so I wanted to show you. What is the best way to cut down a background when I have a small space? I only have a 24 by 36 inch cutting mat. That's actually what I use. I use 24 by 36 at home. Just take it bit by bit, I guess. My daughter was born in 74. Yay, she's my age. My birthday is Tuesday. I don't know how old I'm going to be. I think I'm going to be 49. What is my stitch length? So I use a 1.5 because when you press open, you should be able to wear everything. Why am I flipping between feet? Because my machine, I like to use the 1/4 inch so it's accurate and I can sew faster, and the open toe. So I do like to make sure that I'm not gonna chop over that. Can we cut the 4 yards into 1 yard cuts? Yes, you can. You can do that. If you're gonna cut length of fabric though, consider that before you cut it. And I would say most of you cut with the fabric. So you guys vote and tell me, do you cut with the fabric or length of fabric on borders? Because I think most of you do with the fabric. I think people think I'm crazy for doing it, but after cutting my borders, I cut the remainder back around at a 1/2 yard cuts, much more manageable. Absolutely. The white on white I'm using is from the collection. And the collection is sun washed. Okay, so now this, I cut this bigger and this bigger. So it's not gonna be exact. So I'm just gonna find the center, because I'm gonna cut it down anyway. Pin in the center. Yeah, I don't know the name of I don't know the exact SKU, but it's an awesome white. I hope they make it a basic. They did make coriander seeds a basic, so I hope they keep that with the fabric. Yes. Am I going to watch the new Magnum PI? No, I only watch things that are real. I pretty much just watch YouTube all day, every day. Okay, so I could kind of tell that right there, that kind of flipped up. So I'm going to fix that. Okay, I'm going to... How about Ted Lasso? Okay, I don't know who that is. Over 35. Will we be able to purchase more fabric from the line? Okay, so we have plenty of kits in stock. The 1/2 yard bundles are sold out. The fat 1/4 bundles are in stock. And the yardage, if Moda has it in print, we reorder. But a lot of the big floral prints are sold out. I like length of fabric, but it takes more fabric and don't always have it, can't always afford it. I don't like dramas either. Yeah, you know, like especially when like the Jeffrey Dahmer stuff came out on Netflix, I couldn't watch it because it wasn't real. They had it all inaccurate. Okay, so you can see the bottom of this is 1/2 inch smaller on each side. So what I'm doing is I'm finding the center and matching the centers. We reached 35,000, yay! Yeah, maybe if we get to 45,000 tonight, I'll just commit to doing the rest of these on nightly. We'll see. It's been really hard, guys, to get donations lately, so I'm pulling out all the stops. So here, when you're pinning, you're going to just pin. And you're not going to worry about the edges because we are going to tell those. Oh, so with the coupon, If we get to 38,000 by the end of the stream, Kevin is going to activate a 15% off Fat Quarter Bundle code. Okay, so right there, that flipped up. I'm going to fix that. And I just pull a couple of stitches out. Do. Okay. Get that flat, and I just make sure both sides are nice and flat. Did Kimberly finish Stronger Together? Yes, it's at the quilter, I think. I picked the quilting last week, so it's all finished. We'll show it to you when we're done. Okay, so, oh, super chat. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to read them out. Valeria Bauer, she always gives me super chat. Thank you so much, Valeria. And the cross, I know you asked, the cross stitch pattern, the border part is out. The rest come out on the first Friday of each month. Thank you to Donna Bagshaw, Cheryl T, Laura Hamilton, and Molly Schaffenecker. Okay, so what Fat Quarter Bundle will it apply to? It will apply to any Fat Quarter Bundle. So that's what we're doing. Okay. Oh, you just taught me how to fix those flip ups. Yay! Awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to trim this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim right here and right here, and I'm going to leave this for now, just because the way the pattern's written. And what I want to do is I want to line this up at least 2 or 3 inches down here. How can we donate? Ashley has the link, and there's also a link in the description box. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. You want to just make sure you don't just like cut, because then it'd be crooked. So you really have to line this up here and right here, at least 2 or 3 inches down here. So then when you look at your block, there's no thread, all your excess, like all your ugly sewing, all those leftover threads, they're in your scrap. What's my favorite iron? I have used lots of irons. Right now I am using a Rowenta Steam Station. I used to use for years and years an Aliso. Okay, so my C's I cut 3 by 17.5. And my D, I told you earlier, I cut it 3 by 16.5. So we're gonna leave this here, but you can see how much bigger this is. What I'm gonna do is just put this here, and the great thing about doing it longer is I'm gonna trim it down. So I don't have to pin here and here and here. I just pin a couple times. I don't have to get it exactly lined up with the edge, which makes it easy on a live stream like this. Thank you to Lene Reese, Renee Cook, Susan Pasterik. Thank you so much for the super chats. I can't believe you guys are watching. You know, my favorite people live stream on Tuesday, so I'm gonna have to watch all of them on the plane tomorrow. Okay, so this one, when you get to a seam, there are 2 methods. You can either just sew with a solid on top or all your seams up top. I prefer my solid up top because when I'm sewing, I don't want to be tempted to move my foot and try to hit the point. I'm more likely to hit it this way. They're supposed to be 2.5, not 3. I'm confused. Yes, I'm making mine bigger just to show you because that's what I do at home. but you don't have to do it this way. I'm just kind of showing you. Sunnyside should arrive. It isn't. Oh, Sunnyside. June. We're gonna look. Oh yeah, Sunnyside, April. So April, May. We do have something planned with that. That's gonna be really fun. I just donated via the link $10, but that is 16 from Australia. Thank you to Kimberly for all the work on the patterns. Yes, thank you to our team. It is not me who makes the pattern, it is my team. It is Nova, Sarah, Jocelyn, Crystal, Angel. I see some friends from Pat Sloan's morning chats. How do we follow on Tuesday night? Okay, so now what I'm doing is lining up here, here, and just cutting right here. So if you subscribe to our channel and click the little bell, you will get notified anytime we have the nightly. Now, right now, we only do the nightlies maybe once a quarter. They're, let's see. Okay, now I'm gonna add this. So we go live every Friday. This Friday's is pre-recorded because I'm getting on a jet plane and going to, I'm getting on an airplane and going to Nashville. Do y'all have any fun tips for me for Nashville? So we have planned to go to Franklin. We have planned to go to Hattie B's. We have planned to go, where? Hattie B's? Oh, Eddie's. It's this Eddie. It's something Eddie something. It's the best barbecue ever. We're going to go to, what's that store we go to? Draper James. Oh, and thank you to the super chats. Judy Arth. Lifting and stitching. Okay, did you work out today or did you cheat? And Janet Busters. Okay. So I am going to sew this seam. Now, a question you guys can answer so I can look at when I finish sewing this is, do you starch or do you not starch? My thread came undone. Sorry about that. I'm a starchaholic. I starch everything. Oh, starchaholic. That is a good word. I learned about starching from you. I do starch. A lot of people starch. Yay! I will tell you guys, one of my goals is, that's a funny comment. Hold on, leave that up there. One of my goals is to make my own starch one day. Lifting and stitching sure did biceps, abs, and ironed a binding strip. That's awesome. I don't work out ever. You can come be my trainer. I'd be like whining. Mostly no starch. Just a friendly oh, that's not us. As long as I have enough fabric, I will. That's a good idea. Let's see. Okay, I gotta do that. Okay, I messed something up by talking. Okay, see how I messed that up? I'm gonna fix it. This iron is hot, hot, hot. So anytime you have something like this, you definitely need to fix it. Okay, now before I move, to the next step. I'm going to really iron this from the front. That's going to get out any duck pleats. If I see anything bumpy, I'll get it out now. Okay, so now I'm going to try to concentrate because I cut all of this bigger. And the reason why, when you saw me sew, I sewed real fast. And I met every point, even though I sewed fast. But adding borders, I want to sew even faster and trim down. Do I ever use flannel as backing? I don't, but my new thing is Shannon. I love to use Shannon. So this should measure 16.5 by 16.5. So we are going to see if we have a 16.5 inch ruler. But basically these should be about 2 1/4 inches away from the edge. So I'm just going to draw a line 2 1/4 inch away. And then we're going to set that ruler on top. And I'm not going to draw the line the whole way. But this is a way you can cheat. And I know this is excessive. Yes, I know. I see your comments. I know. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It's okay. Try to live with me. Okay, so these were supposed to be 2 1/2, which would leave 2 1/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/4. It says on my pattern 16.5. So I'm going to put this on here and line it up with the lines, and it came out right. Now I'm going to also look to make sure the 2 1/4 is lining up on the ruler. And it is. So I'm going to cut. Duck pleats have nothing to do with starching. Absolutely they don't. They have everything to do with pressing. Okay. That would help if I cut it right. Not excessive or cuckoo. I trim every single step. Yay! I'm glad I'm not the only one. Okay. Usually I cut facing me, but I'm not going to do that on camera tonight. Everyone thought the block was a padlock, but it's a basket. Yes, it's a basket. And if you didn't have a square ruler like this, you could totally just do exactly what I showed you with the ruler with the 2 1/4 inch mark. Dun, da, 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 35, 646. I swear, when I sew on camera, the rotary cutter says that I'm not its friend. We change the blade every time. It just, when I sew on camera, it's jinx. Okay, so now I'm gonna cut this off. Okay, now I see a few little friction marks, but I'm not gonna worry about those because when I do the next step, it's gonna come off. Okay, so now I'm going to add the O's. I also cut these bigger. I cut them 3 inches wide by 16.5. And then my ends, I also cut larger. Excuse me, sorry, I had to sneeze. Okay. Do they sell Juki's US 6.5 mm? I have no idea what that means. Do y'all know what that means? I know they sell Juki's at Primitive Gatherings. I know they sell them on Amazon. There's a store in Louisiana that sells them. I might have to admit I own like 5. It's ridiculous. Okay, I'm from Vancouver Island, Canada. I thought it was a bag. Oh, don't tell Corey. She might cry. Okay, so again, I've attached these, but I can sew really fast. It doesn't have to be accurate because I'm going to trim the next step down too. Do we have enough fabric to cut bigger? Absolutely. Now, anytime you get a fat quarter shop kit that I've designed, or I've written the pattern for, or It's Sew Emma has, you will. Okay, so now we're going to sew. question that I wonder is, do you sew with spools of thread or cones of thread? I used to only sew with spools forever and ever and ever. And then I started sewing with cones. So that's pretty interesting. Cones are definitely more cost effective. Is there a need for the coupon? Yeah, there is a code, but we have to get to 38,000 to get the coupon. And Kevin's not going to activate it anyway until we get there. Okay, so do you use cone, spool? Oh, and you can also say what brand. What was my common error as a beginner that I learned how to fix? Oh, definitely corner squares. Those would always come out wrong because I didn't pin. I would just lay them there. That was definitely my biggest hurdle. And then I would say I used to be horrible at flying geese because they're corner squares. But ever since I started pinning, I'm better. But also I made that foundation paper for It's So Emma. A lot of the products I make are selfish. I make them because I want them. I need them in my sewing room. I want to be effective. And they're selfishly made for me. And I know that sounds horrible. So we've got Aurifil spools, cones, a lot of Aurifil lovers. Floriani. I haven't tried that before. Maybe I'll have to try it. Cones, Aurifil. Everybody's saying Aurifil. Okay, so if everybody's saying Aurifil, what's your favorite color? Mine is 2000. Lori uses 2024, and that's all I know. Metler on my Bernina. I used to use Metler when I first started. I actually have a full case of Metler in my house, and I still have it. So here I'm going, I buy thread from Connecting Threads. Okay, now I'm gonna sew down here. Gutermann got a vote. Necessity is the mother of invention. I also use Aurifil. I best press, not really starching. That's what Lori does. Lori doesn't starch. I love Connecting Threads. Buy my Aurifil spools. Aurifil because of you. Tula Pink's neutral is $28.35. Oh, well, I might have to stock up on that. I had no idea. Gutermann is the choice. Superior thread. I love Aurifil 6727. Do I use my knee lift? Absolutely. That's for lifting and stitching, that's my cardio, the knee lift. Knee lift 1, knee lift 2, that's about it. Are Jukies always so noisy? Yes, they are. And my kids have this habit. They love to hang out with me because I have a couch in my sewing studio. It's a mini. It's not really a couch. It's like a little. I got it at Home Goods for like $80. It's a little mini sofa. It's really a couch for Piggy, but my kids use it. They kick him off. Anyway, with that, oh, my iron wanted to say hello to you. With that, what was I talking about? I lost my train of thought. Oh, my kids they come in my room, but when they come in, they leave and they never leave the door. They never close the door, and Kevin gets so frustrated. He always makes me shut the door. Okay, so same thing here. I cut bigger, so I'm gonna trim down. And I'm gonna do that same thing. I'm gonna mark with the line, 2 1/4 across, because how did I start? I started out of the bedrooms in my house. I just downloaded the block and made a donation. Thank you. Okay, so Jordan, do a little image and let's see where we're at. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, we haven't moved very much, so I can't sing moving on up. We definitely haven't been moving on up. Okay. Okay, so now this one, so like I said, if you didn't have a square ruler, you would just line this up and cut, 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 cut. But because I like to be exact, I'm gonna use a 20.5-inch square ruler, and I know it because I saw it right here. Okay. So I'm gonna use those lines as a guide. Ignore my gray hair. And I'm gonna check here. Oh, I'm pretty exact. Okay. Now I'm gonna cut. I thought at the beginning it was a coupon for $35. No, it was $38. The coupon will be for 15% off fat quarter bundles. And then if we got to 40, I would commit to monthly, nightly live streams for the next 4 months. Okay, let's get this exact. Now this next step, I can't cheat, so that stinks. Gray is the new fashion code. Kimberly looks so good. Oh, my hair. Oh, yeah. One of my friends, she dyes her hair gray. And I told her husband, I think she went a little too gray. And he was like, yeah, her new color is gray. So she's going all gray. It looks really good, but I hadn't seen her in a while. And I was like, oh. Okay, so here. The way I step this out is kind of confusing, so I'm going to my Q's are going to go on the side and my P's are going to go on the top. So I'm going to leave this one away. Okay. No. Okay, so I'm just cheating to see. This goes in, this goes in, and this goes in, right? Okay, so you're just gonna pretend we didn't do all that. I'm gonna write on the wrong side of my remaining fabric F's. The hard part, yes, the hard part. What is the Peggy? What is the Piggy? Piggy is my little puppy. And we do little pictures of Piggy when it's my doggy. He's my little baby. He's probably like, Mommy, where are you? I'm hungry. I need to eat. Okay, so you're going to make 2 that look like this. And you're just going to put the corner square on there. You're going to either glue or pin. And then you're going to make 2 that go the other way. And I'm going to pin since you guys voted on pinning. And I'm going to sew that. I'm going to trim a 1/4 inch away and press open. Now, of course, we do have pressing arrows if you don't want to press open. Press to one side. Love the block. Kimberly, have you kept up with Delphi? Yes, I have. I've met the parents. Really sad. Well, Libby's parents. Okay, so now I'm going to pin these together. Now this is kind of the important part. When you pin it together, you really want to make sure that lines up. Little house pins. Oh, we've got some super chats. Nutty Mimi 8. Nancy White. I love the Nantucket Summer 2022 block of the month and signed up for 2023. Thank you. So here I just line that up because I want that to the point to match. And then Stacy Maria, love the night stream. FQS is cut above the rest. Thank you. We try really hard. Okay, now I'm going to stitch with a 1/4 inch seam. My foot keeps going on my pen holder. So here, you have to line up here, which is a 1/4 inch away, and here. Would you recommend working on both of these or separately? I would probably do them separately, just so you don't mix up the colors. The quilt kit has enough fabric, but it has enough fabric to cut bigger, but it does not have enough for all the bonus patterns because the bonus patterns are actual like big projects. Okay, so here you want to make sure that your points form a V with it touching. And like I said, this part we're not going to be able to trim down. So the way that we're going to do this is pin, pin, pin. And because this is the exact size, adding this, it's going to be more accurate. Is the cutter that you have stuck to the sewing machine? Okay, that little pink thing. Does anybody know what it's called? We're going to look at what it's called. It cuts my thread. I'll show it to you. And I'm going to really find the very center of these and pin. Let's see. I don't know what it's called. Somebody in the chat tell us what it's called. Okay. So here I'm going to line up this little point right here. That's the center. And I'm going to kind of put it right with that pin and scoot it up. And since this is perfectly the right size, it's going to be easier to attach this. It's going to be less wavy because of that. Now, if you wanted to just trim up one time, you could do it just on that last round. I just prefer, if I'm going to do it, I do it on all. And if you want a tip on how to make this where when it comes out it's flat, you can pin up here and this will keep it straight. So right there and right here. And that will give you where when I iron it out, it's going to be straight. Can you go to the comments?
Yeah.
Oh, string blade thread cutter. It was part of a limited item. It was in the Sew Sampler box. It came in a couple of colors, but I think it's out of stock. So we'll have to look into if we're making more or not. Love Starch. Thank you for your live streams. You and your team rock. Thank you. Okay, so here you see I put a lot of pins in because this one does have to be exact. If I was able to trim it down, I would just put a couple pins. Loving all the great tips. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I still am amazed that people watch me. Okay, same thing. Mark in the center. Oh no, I just joined late. Yeah, you know, my favorite YouTubers all live stream on Tuesday nights, so I'm gonna have a lot to download in the morning before I get on the plane. I still have to figure out how I'm getting to the airport though. I just can't make up my mind. Let's go to those fun questions that we have. Let's see. Okay, when you park, do you go in parking straight or do you back in? Now, I can tell you, now I'm going to do this little trick right here. Y'all should try it sometime. If I backed in, I for sure would total my car. One thing I cannot do is park. My mom has always made fun of me for that. I cannot park to save my life. I always just park in the back of the parking lots. One time recently, a guy yelled at me and called me a B word because I parked bad. And I was like, sorry, dude. Okay. That he really did. He was screaming at me. Who are my favorite YouTubers? Okay. I watch Ron, who is growing up in Scientology. I watch Pretty Lies and Alibis. I watch Crime Talk. I watch The Lawyer You Know, I think is what his name is. I watch all kinds of stuff. I probably shouldn't admit all the stuff I watch. I do think that, you know, TV, I really don't need TV anymore. I just need YouTube. So with this pin that's over here, I would not pull it out until you've stitched about 2 or 3 inches. Then I would take it out. Now, another question I could ask is, do you sew over your pins or pull them out before? And then pull this pin out once you're done. I wouldn't pull it out before. I'm going to make sure that point matches, and it does. So I would love for you guys to try that tip, especially when you're doing borders on a quilt, if you trim them down. I never trim my borders down, but if you do, that's a great tip. And I kind of use my left hand to make sure if there's seams down here that they stay flat. I can usually feel it if they pop up. Okay, so now we're going to sew. You know, another fun question is, do you sew as fast as me? What is the coupon and how close are we to 38,000? So let's see, we are 2,000 away. We got a little bit of time though. And I intentionally made it higher just because we are way behind on donations compared to previous years. I used to sew over, but now I pull them out. I think Barb and Mary, for me and my sister, sew over them. I think it's just personal preference. Now, sometimes I sew over them on accident and then break my pins. I back in all the time. Oh my gosh, if I did that, I would die. I'm really not the best driver, I will say that. I guess I'm a good driver, I'm just not a good parker. My first car accident ever was, I got a flat tire by hitting a curb or something. And I didn't have a cell phone back then. I don't even know how I got it fixed. I remember my dad was so mad at me. I sew pretty fast since I bought my Janome M7. Do you think the donations are down this year? Absolutely. Why do I think? Because of the recession. Yes, absolutely. And I think people We've done this so many years. Maybe people are just tired. Maybe they've donated and they just feel like they've donated enough. Okay. So I want to show you. Look how straight that is. And look how straight that is. If I wouldn't have put that extra pin in, it wouldn't have been that straight. Okay. So now we're going to do the top and the bottom. How do I donate? There is a link in the description box. Okay, so I sewed ahead on all of these. Can we zoom out anymore? Probably not. Well, you'll probably get my feet. Okay, right there, that's good. Don't show my feet. Okay. So just follow the pattern for what to do here. This one's gonna go here. So I am going to pin this. And like I said, if you pin 3 times when you're doing a corner square, it will give you better results. Oh, thank you to Tammy Stanley for the super chat. Do we have any new members? Oh, we have some new stuff coming for members. I'm gonna give you a tease in a second. Okay, so I have to change my foot again. And the way this works, I'd have to have something sewn together, but you just like cut the thread right there. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Now, one thing I used to do, this is kind of fun. When I first started, I used to do this. And I don't know why, but at some point, well, I think I know why, but at some point I just stopped because it takes too long. It's much easier to cut with a rotary, but it's also more accurate. And I'm less likely to have little dog ears over here. So it's really weird. When I first learned, I used to cut that way. And I stopped. How do I become a member again, and what are the benefits? Well, we do member-only videos every month, but we found that people don't watch them. So we decided we're going to do a fun event, and it's going to be for members only, and it's going to have a short video, but it's going to have like a free setting that you're going to love. Do I ever forget to change my foot? No. So that's going to be fun, and really what Jocelyn designed is so cute. You guys are going to love it. Okay. So here, that same thing, I want to really make sure that's lined up. Now, if you notice any pieces that are hanging off, you've got to cut them out. If you don't, they're going to get in your seam. Thank you for donating. I watch them. I wonder who you watch. I pull my pins out right before. I cut too close to the seam and clipped in one time. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to sew this with a 1/4 inch seam. What is my favorite Austin restaurant? Oh, here we go. I love Chili's. No, I do not. I love Chewy's. I love Fonda San Miguel. That is my favorite restaurant. I never go there though. And I love, I used to love this place called Castle Hill, and it's long gone. Okay, so now we still want that V to point in, so I'm going to find the center again. I'm a member, but I forget about the videos. And then some of you are saying you watch them. I think you're going to love what we come up with. What about a Zoom for members? I don't think we can because we cannot connect the YouTube technology to that. Donated. Thank you so much, Megan. So I'm finding that center again. What iron is it? Rowenta Steam Station. I watch the member videos too. Flippy corners or my tormentors. That's funny. Okay, so same thing here. We want to make sure that V is pointing in. Now, I prefer to pin the other direction, so I'm going to put this right sides together and flip it. I prefer to pin like this. Okay, so guys, what do you want to chat about now? Let's see. Let's talk about, do you cook or do you eat out? Yeah, I also really like, there's another restaurant in Austin I like. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Lupe Tortilla, I like that. And let's see. Okay, we're $1,500 away. I love Doug Lico patterns. Otherwise, I'm going to put lots of pins in here, and I've got that pin here. I know for myself, I've made lots and lots more donations to World Kitchen that helps feed people in places that have natural disasters and war. Doug Lico is in the house. Hi, Doug. Oh, y'all cook. You know, it's funny. Some of Emma's friends will come over and then their moms are like, how do you get away with not cooking? And I'm like, well, I happen to have a lot more children than you. Most people do not have 4 children. And I happen to work. I'm actually missing, I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble, but my daughter's going to Hawaii, which is with the drill team. Yes, I know it's super excessive. I didn't vote on it. But she is going, that is their trip, is to go to Hawaii. It actually didn't cost very much money, but there's a mandatory meeting tonight. And I had several moms text me, and I was like, well, I'm doing a video, sorry. And then I thought, well, I could email the director and be like, oh, I'm doing a video, but that seems kind of arrogant or something. I mean, no, I don't know. I just was like, well, I'm just not going to show up, and all the moms will fill me in, though. Everyone cooks, goes out for dinner on Saturdays. I was just in Austin for the Journey concert, and we ate at Josephine House. It was great. Okay, I've never been there. I like Perry's too, and I really do like, that's what we do for Thanksgiving. And I also like, there's another restaurant, but it's super expensive. We go there for Father's Day because Kevin likes it. What's it called? I don't even know. It's got steaks. Okay, so now I'm going to stitch these seams, and I've got my pins here and my pins here. That is our, okay, so let's look at donations because we're almost to the end. Ooh, we're $800 away. So I'll just keep talking until we get to 800. But y'all remember I got a flight in the morning. I got to sleep. First, I got to find a ride to the airport. That would be part 1. Okay, so I am so thankful you're doing this. Now I know what to expect when I start mine. Do I have a favorite cutting mat? Oh, I like Lori Holes because it's pretty. But I've used Olfa, I've used Creative Grids. I like the Creative Grids probably second. What is everybody's day job? Did I explain how the pin at the end keeps it straight? Well, what it does is it keeps it, when you're sewing, it doesn't pull. And by putting that right here, when I'm sewing, okay, so the pin is right here, and I'm sewing. If you start pinning and that's not there, and maybe it's dipped down, it's just gonna pull. It keeps it secure as you're sewing, and when you get to right here, it's not moving. Have I packed? Yes, I have packed. Now, one thing about me always, I never ever get where I'm going with everything. Always forget something. I either forget a toothbrush, I forget always something. I mean, so I just have really prepared this time. I have everything packed, and I know I'll forget something, but hopefully it's not anything major. One time I got out of town with no pajamas. That was no good. I think I had to go, I think I went to an outlet mall and bought some pajamas or something. Retired high school math teacher, retired nurse, elementary school teacher, elementary music teacher. My son had to go try out instruments this weekend, and they were trying to get him to try all kinds of instruments, and he refused. He said, I'm playing the trumpet or I'm not playing. And I thought, okay, well, that's the way to do it. Okay, so now this should be 24.5. We're gonna see how accurate I got, and then we're gonna move on my mess. Okay. It's exactly 24.5 right there. And I am gonna trim it because I like it to be straight. Oh, perfect. So exciting. Okay, I'm gonna trim. Registered nurse. I could never be a nurse or a doctor. I'd pass out. Every time I have to go to do stuff, they're like, ma'am, are you gonna pass out? Are you okay? I'm like, I'll be fine. Just hurry up. I'm not good at the doctor. My mom had to have something done, and I had to leave the room. And the nurse was like, what's wrong with your daughter? And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, if y'all want, I had to leave. I eventually had to leave because they were, anyway, let's just say that. Lots of nurses, thank you for all you do. Yes. As of Friday, retired U.S. government, 35 years. Retired nurse, lots of nurses. I don't even think I'm smart enough to be a nurse. I'd probably be given the wrong medicines. Stay-at-home mom. Retired civil service. Retired medical field. I'm so proud of my block. It came out so good. I was a little bit worried because I sew best in the morning, and I thought I'd might make a mistake, but I didn't. Okay, so let's look at this. And ta-da! It looks so good. Okay, I'm going to show it with the other one. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to take this off and zoom in so you can see it. So pretty. What is... Oh, I got to add something. Oh, I forgot. I thought I was done. Oh, I'm not done. Sorry. Oh, I won't put the mat. Well, I'm going to have to put the mat back on. Okay. Well, that block is really cute, and I forgot to add the corner squares, but I do have tips on the corner squares, so we're going to put the mat back on and do the corner squares. Sorry. Okay, that gives y'all more time to donate. Let's see where we're at. Okay. Sorry, guys. I forgot. It looks good like this, though. You could just leave it. Leave it. Call it a day. Okay, so on my fabric A's, I am going to draw a line on the wrong side. Ooh, we're getting close. Okay, so the bigger the square, the more accurate. Just leave it. Well, I can't really leave it because it's the sample. Only a few more corners, yes. So it is, the bigger the square, the more accurate you have to be. That's so funny. Looks awesome, Kimberly. Corey Yoder's fabric sells out so fast. I was hoping Buttercup and Slate. Yes, I know. It just, you know, and it's hit or miss. Sometimes collections, we think they're going to sell out. They don't. Sometimes we over order. Sometimes we under order. We try our best, but all stores have this issue. It's kind of like shoes. Okay, so when you're doing this, oh, we're getting closer. Okay, when you're doing this, you really want to make sure it's perfectly on there. And I'm going to pin a lot of times. Perfect live for when I test papers. You're amazing that you can do video and talk at the same time. Well, I'm doing pretty good tonight. I'm really proud of myself for tonight. Except that I totally would have ended this video without the squares. And I just kept wondering why Denise was looking at me funny. And yeah, I totally would have ended this without this. I was wondering why there were squares on the thing. It looks better without the corners. It looks like petals. Yeah, leave it off if you want. I can't leave mine off. Okay, so here, like I would never do that because it's not exactly on there. And I wouldn't have trimmed the block up yet either until I got these on, but oh well. Okay, so right there. Right there. You can even kind of put one, let's see. Kind of liked it without the corners. Yeah, me too. But I have to keep it. Oh, and I did forget earlier to say that we're going to have an auction in August. So let me tell you about the auction in August because I skipped over that because I was hyper. We are going to have an auction in, it starts August 3rd. And we're going to auction off Corey Yoder's quilt, Lisa Bonjean's quilt, this quilt that I'm making on camera, Pat Sloan's quilt, and Robin Pickens is going to make a quilt. So we will be donating 5 quilts. So since our, yeah, so that'll be in August. Great customer service. I like it without corners. What is a super chat? So super chats are like where you can donate. Okay, right here. See right there, it's a little bit off. I'm going to just fix that because I want it to be exact. So when you draw on that line, it really needs to be exact. If you sew too far over this way, it's going to be short. And if you go too far the other way, it's going to be too long. So pinning is important. I wear Hokas. Hard for many to donate when prices are ridiculous inflated. I totally agree. Ran out of pins. So I have 3 or 4 of these at home and I just switch them out. Okay. So last square, I'm going slow so y'all can donate. And at the end, I'm going to show you some sample maker blocks. So if you want to use your stash of fabric, you can see other people's blocks. I do get pretty meticulous about this pinning though. And this one, I would say, you know, it's pretty big. You kind of have to be careful. Sorry, the mess drives me crazy. You have to be careful because you'll start pinning yourself. You'll start picking, like these pins will start picking you. So I kind of just try to maneuver it where the pins don't stick me. Okay, here we go. How many of these little pin caddies do y'all have? I think I have 5. But I think I used 3, but I have 5. Now here, what's really helpful is on something this big to have a flat surface so that it stays flat when you're sewing. So I'm being a little bit more careful sewing this just because it's the outer edge. Okay, one more corner. I sew right on the line. I don't sew a shade off. And a lot of people sew slightly to the right, but I always sew right on the line. And trim a 1/4 inch away. And then I'm going to talk about these little triangles in a second. We are $205. And all this money, just so you guys know, it all goes directly to Make-A-Wish. And so it's impactful because the money goes straight to them. We never touch the money. I nicknamed my daughter's quilt the DNA quilt because I stuck myself so many times. Thankfully, it didn't get on the fabric. Okay, so a tip, if it gets on the fabric, your spit will remove your blood. And I'm not joking. Spit is the best thing to get blood out of anything. And it has to be your spit. It doesn't work if it's your husband's or somebody else's, and I'm not kidding. Okay, so you can either sew these together and get an extra 1/2 square triangle, but what I like to do with pieces this big, I'm going to actually show you. What I like to do when I have big pieces like this for background, I'm going to cut the biggest piece I can from a square ruler to put in my bucket. So 3.5 obviously doesn't work. Where's my 2.5? Oh, it's hidden. You need to spill the blood. What does it say? Okay, so 2.5. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. My daughter was given a Make-A-Wish trip. Yay! Hydrogen peroxide, yes. Hydrogen peroxide, spit, and Tide pin. But your spit is the best. And I learned that on Reddit. And it does work. Spit removes blood. Wow, that's amazing. Yes, well, according to me it does, but hopefully we don't cut ourselves. Okay, so that's what I would do with these, and I would put this in my 2.5 inch bucket because background squares are always great to have for scrap quilts. Okay, so now I'm gonna iron and press open. Swim with the dolphins for Make-A-Wish. Oh my gosh, I could never do that. That's awesome though. I'm afraid of water. You will never, ever, ever see me in water. Ever. I mean, you'd have to probably pay me $1 million to even think about getting in water. Invite them to watch your video. Will the coupon work on bundles that are already on sale? Yes. Okay. So I've got those pressed to one side. I am going to press those open. My son is the Make-A-Wish recipient as well, working on his wish to be granted. Oh, awesome. Spit stops mosquito bites from itching. Oh, that's good. We hit it. Yay. Okay. Donate, donate. Thank you so much. Jordan is putting your coupon up. Coupon up, coupon up. Okay, so here's your coupon. 15% off Fat Quarter bundles. And it ends Friday, March 3rd. So you have a couple days. You have 4 days. 3 days. So this Friday, 15% off. You have to put the coupon code in. And it works on any Fat Quarter bundle on Fat Quarter Shop's website. And that is your code. So you have to put the code in. Yay, I'm so happy. You guys made me so happy. Okay, so since I already trimmed kind of over here, what I'm going to do, sorry, is I'm going to trim just the corners. And hopefully I pinned good so I won't have to trim too much off. Oh, excludes sales. Oh, sorry, terms. 15% off Fat Quarter bundles excludes sale items, reservations, and memberships and items not in stock. That's a great coupon. Woohoo! So sorry, I said that incorrectly. Does not work on bundles on sale. I'm trimming this. Thank you for the coupon. Yes, thank you, Kevin. My fabrics are always starched. They are crisp and stiff. Kind of like my personality. Just kidding. What is the code? The code is on the screen. So just look on your screen where my hand is. It's right there. It's not in the chat. It's on the screen. And we're going to leave it up on the screen until we end because I have some other stuff to show you. We're just going to leave it up there. Yay! Okay, now I'm going to show you both blocks together. That's good. That's perfect. And so I was going to kind of talk about the coloring and why I think Corey did it this way. So they both have yellow on the outer borders. And then you can see the basket handle and inner borders are the same color. These are blue and then this one's peach. She kept the same, so Corey designed it and Corey did the coloring. She also made the accent match, but the yellow is a great blender color and it pulls together kind of the inside. So 2 different yellows, but if you're doing this from home, what I would recommend is I would tie together your basket, your handle, and your inner border colors. Keep those the same on both blocks and then pick one color for the outside. That's just my tip to you. Now this, we do have quilt kits and backing sets available for this. It's called Bountiful. And I will be August 3rd auctioning off this quilt that I make on camera. And then I'm going to show you some sample maker blocks. So these are made in the Fruit Cocktail Collection. Sorry, I have the hiccups. These are made from the Fruit Cocktail Collection by Fig Tree Teresa made these. This collection's not in stock yet. And this background is an eyelet. It's from the collection. And so she did these blue, and then these different. She did keep these yellow, and she did keep the accent the same. Now I did want to show you, she pressed according to the pattern. So her pressing looks different than mine, and it looks just as good. So if you look, right here, this one's pressed open, this one's pressed to one side. They still both look great. So really, you can do whatever you like, whatever works best for you. I know that when Teresa sews, she does not do that, all that extra stuff I just did, and her blocks look wonderful. So, and this is the background from the collection, and this is also the background from the collection. So, fruit cocktail. This next one is Sweet Liberty by Brenda Riddle Designs. And on this one, Angel sewed these, and she used Bella Solid 98. And so she made everything blue. So she made her baskets blue. She inverted, so she made, you know, the same, so she did the basket and the handle, and the basket and the handle inverted, kept the same. And then she did the same fabric. One is inner, one is outer, and then these two are different. So this is a totally different way to sew it and kind of change your fabric. And she sewed pressed according to the pattern. This next one, Riley sewed. This is the Beyond Bella collection by Annie Brady. So Beyond Bella is now a basic, and Moda just added some brand new colors. So there's some older colors, some newer colors. And for the background, Riley used 9900 color 263, and she does not starch. So not only does she not starch, she presses to one side. So totally different than me. And what she did is she did the baskets all one color, and then changed the accent between the two, and then did two corresponding inner and outer. So like a lighter, darker, lighter, darker. And this is Beyond, these backgrounds right here are both different. This is Beyond Bella white, and this is a Beyond Bella that's a tan. And this next one is Sunnyside. We had somebody ask earlier about this collection. And Carrie made this one, and let's see. So she did the same inner and outer border on both. She did the same print in the handles and the baskets, but different colors. Same accent. And then this right here is a cross weave gold. So Moda had cross weave for years and years in a ton of colors. And then a couple years ago, they changed it to just be like black, gray, and a white, I think. And then they just released some brand new colors. I think they're in stock now. This one is 121111. I've never worked with cross weave. It is definitely more flimsy than cotton. But the gold kind of brings out Camille's colors and lets her do an inner border that's gonna pop. Okay, so guys, y'all have any questions for me? Definitely, I'm gonna answer a couple questions. Let's do about 20 or 30 questions. That way the coupon code can stay up for a while. Can this quilt be made with the sun-washed fat quarter bundle, or do you need extra fabric? You definitely need extra fabric, but what you could do, I mean, obviously you need more background. Obviously you're gonna need some more bigger pieces. But you could obviously pull in small, you know, some of the pieces are pretty big, the blocks are pretty big, so I don't think a fat quarter bundle would work. But you could always start with that and then kind of adjust as you go. Do you find sewing the open seams are as sturdy as pressing to one side? They're definitely not as sturdy, but I just get some kind of weird satisfaction of getting the seams really flat. It's like some new thing that I'm doing, and I'm obsessed with it. And I was like, I kind of was doing a little to some of my scrappy things I've been planning, kind of got out of hand. I was like, okay, I'm never gonna get this done. So I was like, oh, and I came up with this great idea, and I was like, oh, I can totally not press open. And I literally could not set those blocks aside until I pressed open. So I've lost my mind. Any more Barn Star sampler bundles? I'm so sorry, completely sold out because a lot of the fabrics sold out, but we bought plenty. We just sold more than we thought. And I really think this collection sold out quicker because people bought different backing fabric. So for some reason, a lot of people bought big chunks of backing that was a different SKU. What was my sneak peek for YouTube members? Okay, so my sneak peek for YouTube members is we are going to, in a month or two, we're going to start an exclusive sew along, and it's going to have existing free patterns on Fat Quarter Shop site. It's going to use 12 fat quarter bundles, one background, one binding, and one backing. And each month we're just going to make a simple block, and it's going to be a sampler. And anyone can do it because it's going to be, anybody's got 12 fat quarters, just pull 12 fat quarters. So it's meant to be something you can just pull from your stash, and we can be more interactive. We can show pictures, we can kind of chat with each other in the community tab and be a little bit more interactive. Why do I use a 1.5 stitch length? Because I press open, and that way the seams will stay together. Does the kit include enough fabric for the bonus patterns? No, but it does have enough to do all the little extra things I'm gonna do in the videos. And like what I'll do when we go to block 2, block 3, I'll focus on something totally different. So on that one, I won't make bigger and cut down. I'll find a different tip. I'm trying to change it up and show you different tips each time. Obviously with quilting, there's only so many ways you can do it. But one time I'll do maybe triangles without triangle paper, that kind of thing, but give you as many tips as I can. I love the member quilt along idea. Thank you. Now that's going to be so cute. Jocelyn came up with it. I love it. It's going to be great. Okay, let's see. Eliana's excited. Release 2. Okay, so I did forget to say that. So if we go back, Friday, April 7th will be block 2 release. Now, the first Friday of every month until August, that Friday, the first Friday of each month, will be your free pattern for cross stitch and for quilting. And it will be on the top of our What's New page. Does the Bountiful cross stitch have a kit? Okay, so let me show it to you. I don't think I showed it to you yet. Did I show it? I did. Okay, I'm going to show it again. It doesn't have a kit per se, but we do have a thread pack. So cross stitch works a little bit different because a lot of people do not like to use the same fabric. So we sell a fabric kit for the classic colorworks, and then I sell the fabric separately. This is pale gray gingham 14 count Aida because that's what I love. And you can see the block we did today is right there. And we matched the fabric to classic colorworks so that we could keep it authentic to Corey Yoder's coloring. Why are we going to Nashville? So there is a cross stitch show in Nashville that we are going to. And we're also going to Nashville because I have 4 kids and I need a break. I always say, if I could have one thing for every year, I would go sit in a hotel and be left alone. I wouldn't talk to anybody for a week. So my kids are like, I love them. One of them's in the chat. He's great. I love him. He'll be in my bed waiting for me to give me a hug when I get home. But I need a break. Nobody said having 4 kids was going to be easy. And they just started all these new things. So they just started new basketball teams, new basketball coaches, new track and field, new UIL. I can't even keep up. I started a new spreadsheet because I couldn't keep up. I don't know. It's crazy. Am I able to rewatch? Yes. So what happens is when we're done, Jordan will re-upload it to YouTube. It does take a couple minutes to re-upload. And one thing is when YouTube uploads it, the chat doesn't automatically upload. It takes a while for it to like kick in. And that's a thing on YouTube's side, not our side. How do I remember who sewed each squared? So I have a little teleprompter right here. It's the spreadsheet, and Denise writes it all in for me. Because I can't remember. Obviously, I didn't even remember that I showed you guys this already. I couldn't even remember if I showed that in the beginning. I can't remember anything. I reserved Sunnyside. It ships in April. How early do you pack for a flight? I packed this morning. So basically this morning, I usually take Christopher to school because he gets to school really early. And I had Kevin take him. And then I took my twins to school. And then I came home. I tried to take a nap, but I couldn't because the Murdahl trial was on and I was listening to it and the lawyers were really getting aggressive. And I was like, okay. So I got up, I packed and packed my clothes, and then I took a little break. And then I worked. And then I packed the stuff I'm going to take crafty-wise, took a break. And then I packed my makeup. I like take all day to do it because I hate to pack. How do I become a member for the Sew Along? So you become a member of the YouTube channel, and we have a video on how to become a member, don't we? Do we?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, we do. Okay, so you'll have to search Fat Quarter Shop how to become a member. It's really inexpensive, but it's a way. I really want it to be a little bit more interactive. I feel like I just come on, do videos. I don't feel like, I don't know, I don't get like a lot of feedback from them. So I thought, you know, we should change it up. Like we used to do the members where we did Q&As. And then like, you've already asked me all the questions. So we do try to change it up because it's so important to stay fresh and current. Oh, Patty, the Rocky Mountain Stitcher says, have a Starbucks on me. Yes, I have a Starbucks in my car and I have a Starbucks over here so that when I drive home, I will have my Starbucks. Okay, I'm going to say hi to my new YouTube members. We have Ian Mack, Kyle Hade, Becky Pender, Sharon Shulsky, JJR, Janet Hickey, and Susan Schaefer. Awesome. Okay, let's see how much we donated. Dun, 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 dun. 38,602. Thank you so much. Make-A-Wish will be so excited. We'll get to grant a wish. Okay, so thank you so much for watching the Block 1 tutorial. When we hit 40,000, we are going to release a pillow pattern. So that would show you how you take that block we just did and put it into a pillow. We also have bonuses when we hit 50, 60, 70. Where are the bonuses? Where are the bonuses? Let's see. When we hit 40,000, 60,000, 80,000, and 100,000, we also have bonuses then. But Friday, April 7th, I will have a Block 2 pattern on our blog and our website. And then Monday, April 10th, 9 a.m., I'm going to do a live stream for Block 2. So that'll be Monday during the morning on Block 2. Anything you want me to touch on Block 2, you can always put comments. I read all of the comments. Let me know what you think of the show. And I'm so excited that you joined me tonight. I'm still amazed that you guys even watch me. And I will come up with something exciting for Block 2, and I'll see you then.